Security, Medicare, and all the social media sites out there, everything. I put up there on the thumbnail that talk about the top six, but I just went through some of my YouTube comments this morning, and some more popped up. There's hundreds, but we've only got a certain amount of time. All right, if you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I'm a former manager of the Social Security Administration. I help people throughout the country navigate the bureaucracy of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. And this is completely live. So if you're watching this live right now and you have questions, I'm going to go ahead and talk about misinformation. It should take about 10-15 minutes, all the things to watch out for. And then I'll answer all your questions for about 45 minutes to an hour. And so if you have any questions, make sure you type in the chat there. If you are watching this, we're also recording. So if you're watching a recording of this, make sure you subscribe and like and join the next live chat if you friends or anybody have any questions about all things Social Security, Medicare, and all the rest of it. So yes, this is 100% live. And so, all right, let's go ahead. This is go ahead and get started. So the origin of all this is misinformation, a lot of misinformation you get from the Social Security Administration. I worked there for a few decades, and it takes a couple of years to train employees. So employees are hired right off the street, and they know nothing about Social Security, and they go through about 3 months of training, and then about a year or 2 years kind of OJT, on the job training. Theoretically, all their cases are double checked by an expert to make sure everything is good for the first year or two, and then they're off to the races. So quite often, as I just had an example this morning in my YouTube comments, somebody went in, I told the person about the independently entitled divorced spouse, that your ex-spouse doesn't have to have filed for benefits yet for you to get spouse benefits. As long as they're 62, you file for benefits on your own record, and then you can file for spouse benefits on their record, even if they haven't filed yet. It's called independently entitled divorced spouse. Well, she heard about that. Awesome. She needs more money. She goes into her local office, and her local office, the person at the front window says, yeah, no, you can't do that. You have to wait till they retire. And said, as she followed my instructions and asked for the supervisor, and hopefully that worked, but it didn't. Supervisor said the same thing. You had to wait. You have to wait until your ex actually files for benefits, which is incorrect. So that's another issue. New employees, and the fact that the frontline employees, they're called CSR, customer service representatives. They're the hardest working, less paid people in Social Security, but they're kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. So they know a little bit about everything. You know, a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing type thing. So 90% of the time they give out correct answers, but there's so many different exceptions. There's 20,000 pages of Social Security policy, and yeah, there's nobody that can in that type of area knows it all. There's exceptions to the exceptions, exceptions. So if you go up to the front window and you're told X, Y, and Z, yeah, it might not be accurate. So that's why I do this live Q&A continuously. So there is no fancy studios or editing of the videos. So people complain about my videos. Oh, get on with it, and you're rambling. So, well, these are all live videos. So if you want fancy editing, go watch a cat video or something. But anyway, sorry, the old Marine Corps sergeant came out at me in a second there. Okay, so, and then the operations supervisor, you figure an operations supervisor will know better. Well, in Social Security, most of the units they're broken down into Title II and Title 16. Title II is the retirement, Social Security disability insurance, survivor benefits, spouse benefits. Title 16 is SSI, the welfare based. So what I'm thinking is, this lady, when she went up there, she talked to the frontline person, independently entitled divorced spouse. The person should have known it, but the supervisor was probably an SSI specialist before they became a supervisor, and they just didn't know it. So if it was a Title II person, they would immediately say, oh yeah, come on back and we'll go ahead and take the claim. So yeah, I have to fight the bureaucracy and get all this misinformation. And it's even worse is that it's not only misinformation from Social Security and Medicare and all the rest of it, but it's also social media. There's so many social media TikTokers and YouTubers out there that they go to a couple of day class that you can do online, all things Social Security, and you get a cute little certificate that says that you're an expert. And yeah, unless you're a savant and you can read 20,000 pages in 2 days. I don't think so. So they're giving out a lot of misinformation. And then there's the barracks lawyers. All the military people out there will recognize the barracks lawyers. They're all experts in everything. And so, yeah, okay. So let's. That's kind of the origin and one or two examples there. Um, so one of the misinformation, and people are losing a lot of money because of this misinformation, is survivor benefits. Um, so this is not really necessarily losing benefits, but not planning accordingly. And a lot of people are suffering because of it. So here's the situation. If you're married and you and your spouse are receiving spouse benefits, if you're receiving, let's say, $1,000 and your spouse is receiving $2,000, so a total of $3,000 coming into the household. When, let's say, the higher earning spouse passes away, you figure you've heard that you get the spouse's benefits, and that's correct. But as someone used to say, there's more to the story. That that's minus your own. So if you're getting $1,000 and your spouse was getting $2,000 and that person passes away, you're going to get $2,000. Yes, you're going to get that person's $2,000 minus your own. So the total income after that person passes away is no longer $3,000. It's going to be $2,000. So I can't tell you how many times that has surprised people. I've taken hundreds of thousands of retirement survivor claims, and people have come in and they say, okay, I'm getting the spouse benefit. Yes, but it's not going to be the total $3,000, both of you. You're going to get an extra $1,000 off your spouse's record. If you're your full retirement age. If it happens when you're under your full retirement, then it's reduced even more. So you get both, but you don't get both. You get partial of one and minus your own. So yeah, if you know anybody that is getting survivor benefit or getting spouse benefits and they're married, please make sure they're aware of that. Yeah. Another thing about survivor benefits, a lot of misinformation out there, is when you file for spouse benefits and your current spouse is living and your ex-spouse is living, then you can get up to half of their benefit amount minus your own, because you have to file on your own first. Okay. And that's true if your spouse is living. But if your spouse is deceased, then you can file for survivor benefits on their record and then not touch yours. Don't touch yours. Let it increase. If it's going to eventually be more, let it increase, and then jump from survivor benefits to your own benefits. So in that particular case, if you touch yours, if you start taking yours, then you're kind of locked in there, and you can never let it go up again. So that's another thing you see a lot of misinformation about, that you can switch. All right, another misinformation out there is divorced spouse not being entitled. I just did a video on this. The title was "Stop Losing Money Every Month," and I think it's one of my most important videos I've done in a while. So please watch that and share it. But this is one of the points. I'm just going to keep repeating some of the same information video after video after video until I get everybody in the country the benefits they're entitled to on these particular programs. So, all right. So if you go into a Social Security office and say, I want to file for spouse benefits, I want to file for divorce spouse benefits, and if you were married to the person for 10 years or whatever the case may be, then they might tell you you're not entitled. It's not that you were married to that person for 10 years, but you're entitled, or you're currently married to that person, you're entitled. But the benefit amount is not high enough. So if you have a divorced spouse and they say, okay, yeah, there's no more money on that record because that person's has to be twice as much as yours. So there's no more money on that. And then people every single day just go on with their life and they completely forget about it. That's a form of misinformation, because you're not entitled to benefits that particular day. But if let's say your ex-spouse continues to work and pays more into Social Security, their benefit goes up and now you're entitled. So it might not be a much, but if you go ahead and get on that record, if you're full retirement age, get another $10, $20, $30 a month. And then if they pass away, your benefit amount will immediately shoot up because you're no longer getting 50%, you're getting 100% of that benefit amount. So just because you're not entitled one day doesn't mean you're not entitled, you know, the next year or something like that. And yes, and if you're not entitled as a living spouse because of the 50% rule, if that person passes away, you can say, well, I was told by Social Security I wasn't entitled. Well, yeah, at 50% you were, but now that's 100% because that person has passed away. Please go get your benefits. All right, that's what we're doing here, is getting everybody's benefits. If Social Security did a better job of, they just don't have the advertising budget to do this. So that's why y'all are going to press like and subscribe and share and do all that kind of stuff to get information to people out there that need this. All right. Another thing that misinformation is, once your benefit is locked in, it will never change, which is true, and it's not true. So if you file early at 62 or 63 or 64, take an early retirement, early spouse, early survivors, whatever the case may be, anytime you collect benefits from Social Security early, yes, it's reduced. But your benefit can change. And I did a video on this as well. I've got over 300 videos on, I've still got another 1,000 to make, but you get COLA increases. Obviously, you get COLA increases. But there's also the high 35 years of earnings. So if you continue to work, if you're 80 years old and you're working and you're making some good money, some of the highest you've ever made, if that's one of your high 35 years of earnings, then your benefit will increase. Social Security, as soon as you do your taxes, you notify the IRS notifies Social Security, and there you go, your benefit increases, and that's completely automatic. You don't have to do anything. All right, let's see here. And your benefit will increase if you move to another record, right? So if you have a spouse or ex-spouse or whatever the case may be, that it's got some more money there, so your benefit will increase. So it's locked in, but it's not necessarily always locked in. All right, no more information. Misinformation. Can't work. Yes, you can. There's so many people out there that need money and they say, well, I'm receiving early retirement, therefore I can't work. No, 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 no. You can work, it's just limited to the amount of money you can make. This year it's $22,320. So you can work the first year. They can switch to a monthly test. And I've done a video on that about early retirement. I'm actually going to do another one about when to take retirement, 62, 64, 65. I think I've got that this week I'm going to do. So watch out for that one. If you're on SSI, yes, you can work. Supplemental Security Income, the welfare-based program, you can work, but it's kind of offset because it's a welfare-based program. If you're on SSDI, disability insurance, yes, you can work. And the rules for that are outrageous and crazy. I've got some videos on that. I just did a 4-part series on disability a few weeks ago, so make sure you check that out. And then once you hit your full retirement age, you can make $1 million a month. It doesn't matter anymore. And where does that money go? Well, if you're making $1 million a month, then it's probably going to increase your benefit amount. But if you're making $1 million a month, you don't care about your Social Security, right? So there's that. And then click on the thanks down there, buy me a beer or something if you're getting that. Anyway, more information. You can't get retirement and disability at the same time. Technically, you can, but it's the total amount is exactly the same. But that's you don't want to know how the internal bureaucratic sausage is made. But you can file for retirement and disability at the same time. I can't tell you how many people that contact me in their 70s, 80s, and they took a reduced benefit amount at 62 or 63, and yes, they're locked in, COLA increases and everything, but they're essentially locked into that lower benefit amount. But they said, wow, I was disabled. The reason I retired at 62 was because I was disabled. And I said, well, why didn't you file for disability? Well, I didn't know, and I needed the money. Yeah, so they've lost money for the rest of their lives, unfortunately. So let's make sure this doesn't happen to anybody else. If you are 62, 63, 64, under your full retirement age, and you can't work anymore because of your disability will last 12 months or longer. And, go ahead and file for disability and retirement at the same time. It's called a rib dib. And so you file the retirement insurance benefits, disability insurance benefits. You file them both at the same time. That way you get money coming in from the retirement while you're waiting forever to get the disability claim approved. Unfortunately, yeah, it takes 6 to 9 months if you're lucky. And so at least you'll have some money coming in for those 6 to 9 months while they're making the disability decision. Um, and then once you hit your full retirement age, then you're actually your disability. If anybody on the country is on disability in their 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, once they hit their full retirement age, they're no longer on disability. Nobody in the country is on disability after their full retirement age. It automatically switches to retirement benefits, which people out there said, well, yeah, I've been on disability for 20 years and I'm 70 years old. I'd really like to go back to work, but I'm on disability. No, 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 no. You're no longer on disability. You can work, you can make $1 million a month now. No more CDRs, continued disability reviews, no more limitations on your work. Please go for it. Go. Yeah. So many people are having such a difficulty out there because the Social Security system is just too complicated. So that's why I'm here. Child in care. All right, I just had this happen. Lady went into the office and asked for child and care benefits, and the person at the front window says, yeah, you can't get child and care benefits until you hit 62 years old. Completely 100% inaccurate. Child and care benefits, what it is, if you have, let's say your spouse is receiving disability or retirement, and you and your spouse have a child that's under 16 or that became disabled before the age of 22 that's receiving benefits, the parent can get child and care benefits. They can also receive benefits, but there's a family max. But so when you call up Social Security and say, "Hey, I want to kick around this idea of the child and care benefits, and is there any money left over on the family max?" And you are limited to the amount, the same type of thing, work limitation. So the idea of child and care is, Social Security says, okay, you probably, one spouse is retired or disabled. The other spouse needs to stay home with the kid. So they're entitled to some money. Again, if there's money left out. And what a lot of people miss is that family max is if you have, let's say, you have 3 children, and when you file for those benefits, you ask about the child in care, and they say, yeah, there's no more money left. But then one of the children reaches, 18 or, graduates high school, is no longer receiving. Now there's money left on there, and it just sits there because you don't go back in and say, okay, this child just aged out. Is there any more money left? And they'll say, oh yeah, there's actually an extra $300 there. All right, sign me up. So yeah, a lot of people missing those benefits. Another misinformation. I think these are the barracks lawyers out there. Everyone denied disability the first time. Yeah, and because people hear that, they immediately just say, everybody's denied, therefore I'm not going to file. So it's doing a disservice of, people, continuing to repeat that because it just prevents other people that need it from filing for those benefits. I've taken tens of thousands of disability claims, and I've, I don't do them. I'm a doctor, but I'm not a medical doctor. The disability, once it's taken in the Social Security office, it's sent up to the state agency. They make the medical determination. But I've had thousands of cases where it was approved, the first time, and had thousands of cases that was approved the next day. It's unfortunate, terminal cases and really, really severe, car accidents and, severe disabilities that were very, very easy to prove that this person can never work again. And, had some approved the same day, took them at 4 o'clock in the day, one day, and came in the office next day and it was already approved. So this whole thing about myth about everybody's denied the first time, please stop it, because it just makes other people not want to file who need those benefits. So let's be responsible out there. You can retire at 62. Yes, but the misinformation is people who receive survivor benefits can actually retire at 60 years old. So again, more misinformation out there that people are sitting there waiting for 2 years and they needed those benefits. So I can't get them until 62. No. If you're getting survivor benefits, you can get them at 60. If you're filing for disabled widows benefits, you can file at 50. So if you're a widow, a surviving spouse, and you're disabled, you can start those benefits at 50 years old. And when I always say retire, and Social Security employees always say retire, but you can still work. As I mentioned, you can still work. So when we say retire, I say, hey, so when are you going to start your retirement? Oh, I'm going to still go to work. Oh, no, that's fine. No, that's fine. No, but in terms of retirement benefit, so don't confuse those two. We're talking about turning your Social Security benefits on, start getting a check in Social Security, and I by habit call it, start your retirement. Sure, you can still work, especially after your full retirement age. You can work and make $1 million a month. But in terms of turning your money on, when are you going to start that retirement? So, all right. And the last one that I've seen recently is divorced spouse. No, it's not 10 consecutive years. If you remarry the same person by the next calendar year, you can add those times together to come up with 10 years. So all right. So I could go on for that's 20 minutes, way longer than I wanted to go on today about all kinds of misinformation. But it is what it is. And I've got probably 4,000 other examples that I could go to, but I figured I said the top six, but I think it turned out to be 10 or 15 or 12 of them. So you always get extra for your money here. So anyway, all right. So if that's all you're here for is to listen to those, then have an awesome day. But if you have any types of questions, let's go ahead and open it up and see what kind of questions we got out here. All right, just Jeff. Good afternoon, Doctor Ed. Looking forward to another great show. Thank you. I appreciate it. Joanne, I was told I will review 1504 the receive 1504 a month for survivor benefits. I just turned 60. Is this the amount I would receive, or is it broken down for taking before for retirement? Yeah. Don't think I can give you a good answer there without looking at your it's called the MBR, Master Beneficiary Record, which I don't have access to anymore because I'm no longer an employee. But yeah, if you're receiving, yeah, the B4 is a BIC code, beneficiary identifier code. So you're probably receiving benefits. Um, yeah. So if you're ever uncertain, yeah, I can't give you a good answer on this one but if you're uncertain whether your benefit amount is correct, you can always ask for a recalculation or a detailed accounting of how much you're receiving, and they'll tell you exactly how much. Because it sounds like you're dual entitled. You're entitled on survivor benefit, and you're also entitled on another benefit. So you just want to make sure those calculations are done correctly. So just ask them to break it down for you. And that's not done at the local office. You have to submit it to the local office, and then the regional office, wherever you are, they're the ones that will send you the detailed accounting, and then you can check it and make sure it's good. I'm 70. Do I have to pay taxes? Yeah, I don't do taxes. But yeah, in America, taxes? Yeah, I think so. Probably. But again, yeah, it depends on how much you make, how much you make from Social Security, any type of investments. You might have to pay state taxes. There's a great tool on the IRS website where you can you can answer like 10 or 15 different questions, earned income tax credit, and all this sort of answer these questions, and it'll tell you exactly whether you need to file a return. So I would definitely check it out. Nick, just got a letter saying disapproved claim. Now is the doctor they send me to, they believe him more than my doctors. Yeah, so you had a CE, a consultative exam, which was a Social Security doctor that they sent you to. And yeah, it sounds like I guess they believe that doctor more than they believed your doctors. But if that is your initial decision, you can appeal it, and make sure you check out the videos I did last month on disability. I did a one on it, explains exactly how to do the appeals process. So you're probably in the second part of it, which is you need a reconsideration, you need a SSA 561, and they're very easy to fill out. So just watch my video. If you're on the other stage, then you need to go see an ALJ, administrative law judge. And the ALJ, that's the level I kind of recommend getting a lawyer, particularly a local lawyer that knows the local judges. So, all right. But yeah, watch my videos, and it explains in detail exactly your next steps in terms of, filing an appeal. And it gives you a bunch of, insider tips, tricks, and secrets on how to, improve your chances of getting approved. Improve your chances of getting approved. Yes. Rose. I told you this is no editing here. This is all live, 100% live. So no fancy studios. I paid $10 for my green screen sheet back there. So spare no expense. Um, can you lower your gross earned income by contributing to an HSA or IRA Roth to offset going over? No, it's gross income or net income if it's self-employment. Yeah, I was just thinking yesterday. I'm getting a lot of those questions, and I need to do a video on exactly. I don't think I've done. I've talked about this a bunch of times in other videos, but thanks, Rose. I'm going to do a video on this on what exactly counts as income and all that kind of good stuff. So, thank you. But no, it's your gross income in your particular case. Jabo, salutation, Dr. Ed, and everyone say, hey, all right, deal. We got a great community out there. Y'all looking out. We're getting a bunch of subscribers, and y'all are finding tons of money. Again, as I always say, I'm just an idiot sitting here talking to a camera, unless y'all press the like and share and all that kind of stuff. And y'all are getting there. If you read my comments, stating my YouTube comments, this lady had an issue and with Social Security, and she couldn't get it resolved. Y'all pushed the button, got this video to her, and she heard me say how to resolve it, and she resolved it. It got it resolved in one day. That is 100%, well, 99% y'all, because you sent it out to her. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Granny horse training. I got approved for disability on the first application. Yay. I'm 61. Can I still continue to try and work at my profession, even though there's no way I could make substantial income? Yeah, yes, go out there and train horses, young lady. Yes. So see, exactly. First application. Actually, yeah, the try and work. That is exactly what the name is, the trial work period. So for the first 9 months, it's not necessarily consecutive. So for 9 total months over, was it 5 years, you can work and make $1 million a month. So it's you try to go back to work. So you try to go back to work, and every month you're over $1,110. That's considered a trial work month. If you work and just make $500 or $1,000, then that doesn't trigger anything, and you're good. But if you're over that, then it triggers that trial work month, and you can do that for 9 months. And then, if you decide to stop, no harm, no foul. And then if you continue to work, then you get a 36 months of extended period of eligibility. And anytime you go over the SGA, substantial gainful activity, which is $1,550 this year in 2024, then you don't get the money for that month. So yes, you can go back there and train horses. Absolutely. Let's see. My sister went to the local Social Security office. Oh, please, please, please. Do good. She is divorced after 17 years of marriage. Social Security said she couldn't find out how much she is eligible for until she actually files. Is this true? Okay. Yeah. Yes, because they don't want to give out, information on ex-spouses and stuff like that until we don't even, Social Security doesn't even know if that's your actual ex-spouse. So when they say when you actually file, they'll tell you the details. Part of the filing process is you have to prove that you're actually related or were related to that person before they give out personal information. So yeah, you'll need the marriage certificate and the divorce decree and stuff like that. But that she even was told, we can't tell you the numbers until you actually file, that is a good sign. And that's one of the trick I always tell people is say, okay, I want to go ahead and file a claim on my ex-spouse's record. And if they say, oh, there's no more money there, then there's no more money and then you're done. But if they say, oh, okay, let's go ahead and schedule an appointment, ta-da, there's money there. Social Security does not schedule an appointment unless there's actual money there to be received. So if they actually look at the record, if your sister gave them, the ex's, Social Security number, and they looked it up in the system and say, oh yeah, once you file, then we'll tell you. That means good. So there is money there. So that's a beautiful thing. And if she doesn't have the Social Security number, no problem. If all she knows is the name, date of birth is rough estimate of the date of birth, where the city, state the person was born, You might have to, if it's a very common name, you'll need to know the, maybe the parents' names or something like that. So, but I've probably located a million social security numbers with very little information. So it's easy to find somebody's social security number. Um, I sent Charlie. I sent a message to you, but see that you are on live. I wasted, or I wanted to thank you for the advice. Filed SSA 561 and did it online within. Okay, this is the one I was just talking about. Charlie, yes, yes. See, I didn't make up that story. This is Charlie here. Awesome, good deal, good deal. I like it when a plan comes together. Just Jeff. I was appointed a representative payee originally, and Charlie, by the way, just Jeff, that's the reason you got that resolved, is because people like Just Jeff and Don Ricky and all these guys, gals, and they push the button and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. And that's why you got that resolved. So thank you, Just Jeff and Charlie and everybody else. I was appointed a representative payee originally, my mother. I never understood why. My disability is physical, not mental. I can pay my own bills and I can do my own shopping. Is it a problem? Free? No, no, no. Yeah, the representative payee thing is, and when you're approved for disability, they say, this person might need a representative payee because of whatever reason. But the Social Security can't force you to have a representative payee if you don't want to. They can suggest it and all this. I'm gonna have to tell the Margaret story. We had this one lady that came in. Her name was Margaret, and she was not all there. She used to come in and steal our toilet paper on a regular basis in a federal office. So every time she come in, the guards would have to, watch her. She came out and see if she stole our toilet paper again. But anyway, yeah, she came in continuously, and we said, you really need a representative payee. We contacted her kids, and her kids didn't want to be the representative payee, and so we couldn't do anything. We had to deal with her directly. Nobody wanted to be her representative payee, and we couldn't force anybody. We couldn't force her to take a representative payee. So nobody can force you to do a representative payee. They can strongly suggest it, but it's ultimately your money. So go in there and yeah, get it done. But in your particular case, because it's whatever doctor recommended it, just go into another doctor when you have your family doctor or whatever, and get a little letter that says, yeah, Jeff can be his own representative payee. That way it kind of expedites the process. It's a little bit easier. So but make sure it's that we've had people come in there with mental issues that really needed a payee, but they were bringing a note from their podiatrist that said, oh yeah, this person can. Okay, foot doctor. Interesting. Charlie donated to the cause. 1999. Thanks you. Fan characters sending hearts with their. Oh, thank you, Charlie. I appreciate it. All right, got my coffee IV for the day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Don Ricky, my friend is a widow. I love to hear these. My friend, my sister. These are awesome. This is what we need. More people looking out for other people. We're all in this together. All right, my friend is a widow and turned 60 this month, but her husband was on disability and she is currently working. Can she file for survivor benefits? Yes, if she's 60 or her husband passed away. But yeah, so she's currently working as long as she stays under the $22,320. If she goes over a little bit, then they'll just hold back $1 for every $2 she goes over. But remember, if she files at 60, that's the max early retirement you can do. So her benefit is going to be decreased. But again, that's kind of a calculation she'll have to do. And again, so she can collect survivor benefits at 60. Again, she's got the earnings limit, and then collect benefits for a year or two, and then call up Social Security when she turns 62 and says, "Hey, how much is it on mine now?" And and then maybe let hers continue to increase until full retirement age or 70 or whatever the case may be. So yeah, now you can provide her all that information. All right, let's see. So my former state sent me paperwork for my ex-retirement. I will be 62 next year, but I never filed the paperwork. Should I go ahead and collect it? Yeah. So your former state. So is this a state retirement type thing, or is just from your local Social Security office in that state? So, um, yeah, I mean that's a personal decision in terms of ex-spouse benefits. If that person is still out there alive and kicking, then you have to file for benefits on your own record. And then you get up to 50% of the difference between the two. So I would definitely call up if this is Social Security we're talking about, call them up and play around with the numbers. Whether you're working and all the rest of it, there's so many different variables. And actually, early retirement, all that kind of stuff. I think I'm going to do one. I think tomorrow is going to be my video on should you take early retirement at 62 or whatever the case may be. So I'll talk about that more in detail tomorrow. Frederick, I'm a blind person who receives SSI. My father is retired. I am his only child with a disability. Can I collect from his SSDI even though he has settled a lawsuit with his job? Yeah, lawsuit with his job has no relevance whatsoever. Well, is okay. So the lawsuit with the job, he's not getting disability. You're not talking about disability from work. You're talking about your father is receiving Social Security benefits. Okay. All right. So good. Your father is receiving Social Security benefits. Perfect. Um, and if you're receiving SSI, they should have addressed this. Um, if you became disabled before the age of 22, and you're what's called a disabled adult child, and you haven't married, and your work, you're on SSI, so work is probably not an issue. But yes, I would immediately call Social Security and set up appointment for a DAC claim, disabled adult child claim, and yeah, and go through the whole. You've been dealing with SSI, so you know all the bureaucratic rigmarole. But yes, definitely. And then watch my 4 videos on disability, and gives you some ideas and tips and tricks and secrets and all that kind of good stuff. Sweetbug, good evening. Hey, regular viewer here. That Sweetbug has probably helped out, probably gotten millions of dollars for people throughout the country, because she is a regular that always presses subscribe and like and comments and all that kind of stuff. So she has taught the YouTube algorithm to send these videos out to so many people. So thank you, Sweetbug, for finding millions of dollars of people out there. Don't you wish you got a percentage of it? But what are you going to do? But you're doing good deeds. Good evening. Can a person still use the ticket to work after being on Social Security for many years? Absolutely. Absolutely. You can use it anytime you want, up to your full retirement age, because again, once you hit your full retirement age, then you're on retirement. So you can work all you want. All right, got a follow-up question. I just had, does it matter about the state he lives in? Nope, nope, nope. Social Security is a national program. You can live anywhere in the country, or if you can, that person can live anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter. Just check. What is SSI earnings threshold at which I can no longer receive my medical benefits? Yeah, basically $943. There's a $20 kind of exception in there, but about that. But sometimes, so if you're talking about Medicaid, sometimes even if you no longer receive SSI because of work, you're still disabled. Right. So same thing with Social Security disability, SSI disability insurance. If you no longer receive those because of work, but you're still disabled, then your Medicare and or Medicaid can continue. And you say, okay, wait a second, doesn't Social Security define disability as the inability to work? Yes. So it's very confusing. I always like to convey it as like FDR. FDR was disabled. He had polio. He was in a wheelchair, but he was able to work. So he still had disability, but he was able to work. So Social Security, he would be, he wouldn't get benefits, but he would still be considered disabled. So yeah, it's very, very touchy on that. But yeah, I always call out to you're talking Medicaid, contact your Medicaid office and say, okay, in my particular state, if I stop getting SSI because I work too much, will my Medicaid continue? And yeah, there's so many people are having problems getting kicked off Medicaid incorrectly, and then they're losing their Medicare plans, and they're having to get rid of their Medicare Advantage dual plans, which are good if you have Medicare and Medicaid. So if you need help with that, make sure you reach out to my partners that I put together and all that. Cynthia, if I had to go on SSDI at 62, now I'm 67, my SSDI is being switched over to retirement. How much did I lose beyond SSDI since 62? Nothing. You gained. So yeah, if you would have collected retirement at 62, you would have lost because you would have, gotten that lower benefit amount. But when you receive SSDI, your benefit amount is like you waited till your full retirement age, right? So if your full retirement age benefit is $1,000 and you retire in terms of retirement benefits at 62, then you receive about 30% of that. So you would have received $700. But because you filed and got approved for disability at 62, you got $1,000. So it's like you waited till your full retirement age. So you didn't lose anything. Sally, I collected 6 months of widow's benefits at age 61. Spouse was 58. At 62, I filed under my Social Security higher. Can I suspend my Social Security at 67 and switch back to widow's benefits until 70 for my SSA to be larger? You watched my recent video on that, on voluntary DRCs that nobody knows about. Yeah, even Social Security employees, because it just happens so not very often at all. Yes, you can definitely suspend your benefits amount at 67. And they should let you go back on, before you suspend your benefits, confirm that they're going to let you go back. And if they say, well, they know, again, all of this, even the video I did, I put up on the thumbnail of the video. This is something even Social Security employees don't know about most. There's probably one person in every office in the country that knows about it, and that's a Title II TE, which is a technical expert. Hopefully they know about it. It's called voluntary DRCs, voluntary delayed retirement credits. And and this, so she can, at her full retirement age, she can say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop my benefits on my own record. And because I want to get that 8% per year, and I'll file again at 70 and it'll be jumped up. So it's awesome. So if you go into a local office, make sure, you mentioned those specific words. This is a voluntary delayed retirement credit case, and they will look all confused for a while. All right, just one more, please. Do you have a video on going back to work while an SSI disabled with very few resources? It's working while receiving benefits. But it's not specifically for SSI. What I tell you about, I've got another 1,000 videos to do. On working and SSI, it's so technical, and I would reach out to, there's two resources that can look at your specific case, your particular record, your area and everything. It's called the Ticket to Work. Social Security can give you the phone number for that. You call them up. They're an agency or they're an organization that Social Security contracts with to help people go to work. And there's an AWIC, an Area Work Incentives Coordinator. They're not in every Social Security office, but they're usually in a particular area. So those are actually Social Security employees around your area that can help you out as well. And if that person has a Title 16 background, that is SSI background, they'll be able to help you out more. So immediately ask them, find the AWIC in your area, again, AWIC, and then immediately ask, hey, I'm on SSI, I'm thinking about going back to work, and ask them, are you Title 2 or Title 16? And if they say Title II, then say, can I speak to a Title 16 person? Because Title II doesn't know Title 16. And so, it's crazy, isn't it? Thought it was Social Security, just, giving out Social Security cards and giving people retirement money. But yeah, it's so much more. Carletta, I filed at 65 for SSDI, could not work due to cancer. Wow. I get SSI and SSDI. Good. My FRA is June 2024. Will I get my full rate? will be 66 in 6 months. They are not calculated right. Yeah, so you'll just basically continue the way you're at. So you're receiving the max you can out of SSDI. That's why you're getting SSI, is because your SSDI is only three, four, five, $600, and then they're giving you SSI on top of that for a total of this year $943. Unless you're in California, California gives you extra, and I think there's other places that give you a little extra too, but that's a state type thing. Yeah, your benefit amount will stay the same. Um, and yeah, that's you just have to, your Medicaid will continue. I don't know if you had another plan to get you some more money or benefits. Watch my 4 videos I did on living on Social Security alone. There's um, 47 programs in there, 47 things that definitely check out, and it might make your life easier. There's actually 48, but they stopped the internet assistance. So yeah, so forget about that part. Hopefully Congress refunds that internet assistance again, but they stopped funding that. Mindy, thank you for answering my question about if alimony is affected when I file for ex's Social Security, since I'm 62 and he's turned 62 and I wasn't sure. Yeah, you got the spouses and lawyers try all kinds of funny stuff, and that's another thing out there, misinformation. Again, there's 1,000 things I could do on today's video, but I wanted to get the question is um, ex-spouses during the divorce try to slip into the divorce decree. You can never get my Social Security benefits. And so the spouse, turns 62 and they say, they're struggling, and say, well, I can't get my ex's Social Security benefits because it's in the divorce decree. That is worth nothing. That is worth nothing. The only reason Social Security employees need your divorce decree when you file is to look at the bride and the groom, or excuse me, the defendant and the plaintiff, I guess, is the names and the date you were divorced. And they don't look at anything else. If it says down there, this person will never get my Social Security benefits, then the Social Security employee just laughed. They tried to trick you, didn't they? Yeah. So I'm sure there are tens of thousands of people out there that are not getting benefits they need because they think that's the reality. So I hate to keep saying it, press the like, and so we can get to those people. Thanks, Dr. Ed. I watch many of your videos and you answer all of my questions for my wife and I. Awesome. Good deal. Good deal. All right. Thanks, Dick. Love your videos. God bless. Thank you. I appreciate it. Wow, you guys are awesome today. Had to laugh as I was told by friends and family I would not get approved for disability. I was approved initial application in 6 months. Thank you for all your great advice. Awesome. Good deal. Yeah, that's, again, that's, why some people are just negative and they, oh, you don't get approved. Everybody gets denied and stuff like that. No. I don't know why people, yeah. Anyway, and yeah, other people are suffering because they think that's the reality. Wait, I'm confused. Okay, that's my job, is confusing people. So generic. I thought you said the very definition of disability was the inability to work. Yeah, exactly. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, the definition of disability is inability to work, but you're working. But if you work and you're no longer entitled to Social Security disability because of work, your Medicare can continue. Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. It makes no logical sense whatsoever, but that's the regulation, that's the law, and it's awesome. It's great, because if you stop receiving disability because you went back to work, but you're still, again, you're working through your disability. Like Stephen Hawking, he was definitely disabled. FDR, definitely disabled, but you know, no longer receiving benefits. So that person, those people can get Medicare for, I think it's 82 and a half months or something like that. So yeah, I agree. It makes no sense whatsoever, but I think it's a good regulation. Thank you, Dr. Ed. I actually make money trimming horse hooves. Oh my God, I love was the hoof guy, and that one guy in Ireland does it. Ireland or Scotland? Yeah, that guy makes tons of money doing that. It's got a whole barn full of supercars. So yeah, there's tons of money in that. The training is just a minor part of the hoof trimming business. Yeah, I love. Yeah, it's my moment of zen, is watching those crazy guys doing the hoof trimming thingy. So I don't know. I'm strange like that, I guess. Can you reduce your gross earned income by contributing? Oh, okay. I already answered that one. Um, oh, and the other previous question, it's a state retirement. Yes. So yeah. So yeah, it's if you're entitled to it. Yeah, it doesn't matter where you live. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Um, will Social Security tell me if my ex-husband is retired? Um, um, Probably not. Yeah, that's a good question. But it doesn't matter. As long as your ex-husband is 62 years old, at least 62 years old, you can file for benefits. Again, that independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. So it doesn't matter if they're retired or not. Doesn't matter at all. Because it doesn't affect whether you can file, it doesn't affect your benefit amount, because your benefit amount, your spousal benefit amount, is based on his PIA, his primary insurance amount, which is basically his amount at his full retirement age. So whether he filed or not doesn't matter. Scott from South Carolina. My grandson is 7 and has a genetic disability. When can he collect benefits? Now, please call Social Security. Run to the phone right now. Call 800-772-1213 and file for benefits. File for everything. File for SSDI if is a child of someone receiving Social Security, retirement or disability. They can receive benefits on your record if the parents are deceased or disabled. Both have to be either that. Yes, or at the very least SSI. So yes, please file and then get back with us, and if you have any questions. Betty, my friend 65 years old was married 20 years plus. Can he collect from his ex-wife benefits when she turns 62 or 65 and she is married? Yep, doesn't matter. So not the one right now. The ex-spouse is married. That does no relevance whatsoever. It doesn't affect their benefits. They will never know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when the ex turns 62, your friend can collect benefits on that record. Absolutely, absolutely. And it doesn't matter whether the ex has filed or not. Again, independently entitled divorce spouse. I'm not sure if he was collecting his SSDI while he was collecting his workers' comp. I believe his lawsuit just settled about maybe 2 months ago. Yeah, if it's a regular private workers' comp, it has no effect on Social Security at all. If it's a public, from a state workers' comp, then it does affect Social Security benefits. But that's a nightmare calculation that the Social Security employees have to figure out. You shouldn't have to worry about that. You just file and let them work out the details. Airborne Misfit, I like it. Thank you for your channel. I never planned to get SSI if I live to age 70, perhaps. All right. SSI, yeah. So yeah, you were probably talking about Social Security. SSI is the welfare-based program, but everybody makes that mistake. Yeah, don't wait till after 70 because your benefit won't go up anymore after 70. It'll go up because of COLA and high 35, but um, you know, you'll get the max delayed retirement credits at 70 years old. Dr. Ed, my ESL student is about to file for Social Security, so English is a second language, 62 years old this year. She's concerned because she worked on 2 different SSNs over the last 20 years. Can the SSA combine those 2 records? Wow, I've been doing these lives for a month or so, and it's the first time I've had this question. I've had it a million times when I worked at Social Security. Yeah, that's when people work in the country illegally, they go down to the local swap meet and get a Social Security card, and they take it to their employer, and the employer is supposed to check, and they're supposed to run it through the system to make sure it's accurate and everything like that. But the employer's like, hey, we need this employee, so they don't check, and they just pay it because they need the employee. And so they pay it for months or years. And so that employee that's not supposed to be working in the United States works and pays that money into Social Security. And there's billions of dollars paid into Social Security that those people would never ever get back because they never become legalized. And so it benefits, there's billions of dollars being paid that, benefits the rest. But in this particular case, she did eventually become legalized, and she, did the wrong thing, but she fixed it. And yes, so Social Security makes that allowance, and she just goes in there and she has to prove that, yeah, I did a bad thing. I worked under an incorrect Social Security number, but I've since rectified it. I've, done the right thing. Here's my true Social Security number. This is me. This is who I pretended to be. And as long as she's got some type of documentation, absolutely. Social Security regulations allow. And don't, tell her not to be all paranoid about it being arrested or anything like this. Happens all the time. I think in my office, again, the third busiest office in the country, we probably got, a couple, three of these, don't happen very often, but it's it happens all the time. So just tell her to go in there and, bring all the documents you possibly can to prove that that previous person was actually her, and they'll add those together, and she'll get all the money she paid into it. Is it true that you can get into a Section 8 housing more quickly if you're homeless or about to be homeless? How do you prove it? Yes, yes. And I always say with Section 8 housing, yeah, there's always they've got these they call them kind of pocket listings where you contact Section 8, and they say, well, there's a 2-year waiting list and we don't have anything. And but most of these places have little pocket listing. They've got one that for an emergency type thing. So if you hear people, again, same type of thing, "Yeah, everybody for denial is denied first time for disability." Okay, well, forget it. I'm not going to file. Same type. Oh, there's a 2-year waiting list. Yes, there is a general 2-year waiting list, but there's special circumstances where they've got something in their pocket that you come in and you're homeless, you got kids, yada yada yada, whatever, a veteran, and they say, "Oh, okay, yeah, it's 2 years for everybody else, but in your particular case, here you go." So yes, and as part of, I think they just passed very very recently. The federal government gave out a few $1 billion to the states for affordable housing. So now is perhaps a better time to start, starting all this paperwork and getting people, the bureaucracy to know that your friend is out there and needs help. So can I start collecting my own Social Security early at 62, then also start collecting spousal benefits when I turn 65? Yes. Yeah, you have to collect your own benefits before you collect spouse benefits if your spouse or previous spouse is still alive and kicking. Yeah, so you can start your own at 62 and then switch over, or not switch over, but add the spousal benefits on top. All right, Just Jeff, you made my day. All right, your answer to my payee question was great. All this time we thought I had to have a rep. Nope, nope. I can let my mother live her golden years not taking care of her 57-year-old son finances. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, just go down there and get a quick little note from your doctor. And yeah, I mean, you might not even need that, but it makes it a lot easier if you do. So perfect, perfect. Yeah, you can be your own representative payee. I am, yeah, and again, don't tell them that if they say no, you have to have a payee because the judge or this examiner or whatever said you had to pay. It says, well, that's all very nice, but no, they can hold back one check to try to get the payee or whatever, but after that they have to release it. So, but in your case, it shouldn't be an issue. I am 66 years old, received a letter from Social Security about they'd taken me from disability to retirement. The Social Security letter said they made a mistake on amount. Now they upped it $49. Money was on the deceased husband's Social Security benefits for widow. All right, yeah. So it looks like they switched you, and they even, yeah, uh, double checked your record. Or they didn't do it; the computer did it, and they found something somewhere that they owed you more money. So that is a beautiful thing. All right, another part of the team looking out. 108 watching, 75 thumbs up. Please, community, hit the thumbs up for Dr. Ed. He helps us so much. Please help. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm completely ignoring TikTok again. Yeah, TikTok doesn't like me because I say bad words like death and money, but that's what you got to do when you talk about Social Security. So, TikTokers, please come over to YouTube. Which Medicaid plan offers the most in prescription drug plan and coverage? Well, yeah, the Medicaid doesn't really. When you sign up for Medicaid, they also require you to sign up for prescription Part D. And if you don't, they pick one for you. So yeah, it really depends on your particular area. There's thousands of thousands of thousands of them out there. If you have Medicaid and Medicare, you're eligible for a dual eligible Medicare Advantage plan. And because so many people were doing things wrong out there, I decided to put together my own kind of network of people throughout the country that can help you with all that Medicare type stuff. So for TikTok, go onto my homepage. You got my email and my phone number. Just contact me and tell me, give me your name, your phone number, the state you're in, because they're all state specific, and then tell me what you need, and I'll find someone to help you out. What's the process for SSDI benefits renewal? So you're probably talking about a CDR, continuing disability review. And I've done a few videos on that. And number one thing I want to convey to you is don't worry about it. Don't stress. You probably have enough issues being, having a disability and doctors and prescriptions or whatever. Don't stress out on the bureaucracy. Watch my videos on CDRs, and they'll just send you the paperwork, and you fill it out, make a copy, return it, and then please, please, please just forget about it, because they might not even take any action on it. And watch my video, and it explains exactly. Yeah. If you apply for both, do you only collect one? So let's see. Mom was on Medicare, but she needs in-home assistance. Where can we ask? Yeah, Medicare, Medicaid, the state Medicaid offices usually do better in terms of home health care. But you can get your primary care physician, whoever, to write a note, a prescription, basically, that says your mother needs home health care this many hours per week, or needs this type of assistance, or someone. And so if you have Medicaid, submit it to them. If you have Medicare, your doctor can check. If you have a Medicare and Medicaid and a Medicare Advantage plan, those are tough. This is another thing that I don't like. The Medicare insurance agents, they're pushing the Medicare Advantage plan, which is good if you have Medicaid. But then when you switch to home health care, I kind of recommend dropping the Medicare Advantage. The reason is because home health care agencies throughout the country like dealing with Medicaid better. They get paid more and faster. So they prioritize people that are just on Medicaid. It depends on the area, though. But if you have a Medicare Advantage, then that home health agency that your mother or father they're like, yeah, no, I'm not going to come anymore, because your Medicare Advantage policy pays less, and they always give me a hard time. So I've got a whole bunch of other Medicaid people I can take care of, so I'm just going to drop you. So consider that. So when Medicare insurance agents, call and say, yeah, yeah, the Medicare Advantage plan, yeah, they have home health care. They probably do, but if you've got Medicaid, yeah, that is by far the best way to go. So yeah, that's why it's one of the hundreds of reasons I decided to put together my own little network. All right, any deduction be made equally, or will okay. Divorced after 17 years, he remarried, I didn't. Whose amount Social Security will I get? Yeah, it doesn't matter if your divorced spouse is remarried. If you were married to the person for 17 years, so you can collect benefits on their. You can tell this is live. My wife is making food here. So 100% live. No fancy studios here. So let's see here. So yeah, if you were married to the person 10 years, you're entitled to benefits. So you can file for benefits on your own record, and then you file for spouse benefits, and your ex-spouse will never know. If you don't want them to know, they'll, if you want to tell them, then go for it. But Social Security will not, contact them or anything like that. All right. Let's see. Let's face this. Glad we have you to ask these questions, because I had no clue. Can't wait to pass this info on to her. Is there a special form the ESL student needs to fill out to request the records be combined? Oh gosh, there's always a special form of Social Security, but there is no special form on that other than SSA 795. they'll probably have you fill out that, and that's just a general open, you know, kind of a free form that she just puts down, you know, writes her little, hey, I work for this previous, you know, company and this other previous company, and I know I worked on a different social security number. Here's the other social security number, and again, tell her not to stress about it. Tell her not to be paranoid that, you know, she's going to get harassed. If someone looks at, if a social security employee, you know, kind of, oh, what are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And it's like, it's another, excuse me, I'm gonna I'm gonna push down my ex-Marine Corps sergeant here and tell him it's none of their business. Just tell the Social Security employee, you know, I don't need your, you know, your commentary. Just do your job. If they get, you know, if they start doing stuff like that. So, I did a video on that, and was it last year, and the title was "Social Security Employees Don't Care About You," and it's actually good. Is that, you know, the Social Security employees, you know, they don't care about you in the sense of it's not a, you know, it's not a personal grudge. They're not, oh, I'm dying your disability because you're this color or you this hair, or because you, in my case, you have no hair and I'm going to discriminate you because of this. They don't care about any of that. They just care about their workload and not making a mistake, because if they make a mistake, they have to fix it, and it takes 10 times longer to correct a mistake than do it right the first time. So this whole thing about, oh yeah, I went to Social Security and they denied me because, you know, I had an accent or whatever like that. No, no. If you got someone with an attitude like that, just say, you know, be polite and say, can I speak to somebody else? Can I speak to your supervisor and say, hey, this person's got an attitude? And please do that, because some of the employees I had to fire that were terrible employees, we had to have documentation, because we're talking federal employees. So we had to get documentation. So the Social Security employee that you go in there that has a bad attitude, that's treating you wrong, that person might be on the bubble, might be one more incident and that person is gone. So you might be that last incident. And oh, I love the people that I'm like, oh, I need one more complaint. And then someone comes in and complains, oh, thank you. And now that person is gone. So I think they're working at Walmart in Wisconsin or something like that. So anyway, Savannah, Section 202 is a program for HUD. That's for seniors who are on low income. Probably worth looking into. There we go. I like it. The community is jumping out here and helping other people. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, Savannah. Okay, yes. Thank you. I'm trying to find help for elderly find housing. Perfect. Let's see, Mr. Sharma. Oh, okay, you were here yesterday. I am going to be 62 years old in October, but my wife will be 62 after 6 years, so I may claim Social Security of my wife too. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, same answers yesterday. Yeah, definitely 62. Sounds like you're doing the right thing. John, I watched one of your videos earlier today that mentioned adding to your actual earnings in the military. Should I assume that they calculated that into my earnings? You served from 79 to 85. Yeah, thank you for your service. Yeah, if you gave them your DD-214 when you filed, then it was added. But if you don't remember, call the 800 number and say, hey, did you include my earnings? It doesn't make a big amount of difference, you know, a couple $3 or something a month, but hey, it's your money, and you ran 1,000 miles to get that money, right? All right. Let's see here. My daughter is disabled. What will she get when she reaches retirement age? Yeah, so if she's receiving disability already, what it depends on what kind of disability. If she's receiving SSI, then nothing will change. If she's receiving regular disability, then nothing will change, because yeah, she's getting the max benefit amount. If she's getting Social Security disability insurance disability, then she is getting the benefit she would have gotten at her full retirement age. So even if she was 40, 50, or 60, she's getting her full benefit amount. All right, I think let's do. I think we'll do one more question. And again, all the TikTokers, come on over to YouTube so you can see my screen and see all the different stuff I put up and all that. Do they get a bonus for going back to work, be back to work program? All right. I'm getting widow's benefits. I'm 61. Can I remarry and keep collecting? Okay, there we go. That's a good one. All right. So yeah, if you're receiving survivor benefits, you can remarry after 60 years old. Absolutely. Keep your benefits, and yep, nothing will affect anything. It's a beautiful thing. So, and this other, thank you, Actor, for all that you do for us. Inform this information. Bless you and blessing us. All right, thank you. All right, I think that'll do it for today. Y'all have an awesome, and I think tomorrow I'm going to do when to take retirement. So we'll see y'all then.